Welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Okay. Brown pants moment at the gym. This is my first post here, and I want to preface this by saying I am in no way a professional at IT. I know just enough to troubleshoot some basic issues, also on mobile, so please excuse the formatting. This took place maybe 8 years ago. For a little backstory, I used to do men's gymnastics. Relevant, so bear with me. And in addition, I was also unofficially responsible for implementing patches on the mats. Small children would love to pick at stitching. That and general wear and tear from use. I ended up getting an injury that meant I couldn't really do much, so I helped my coach out around the gym even more. I did things like greasing the bearings in the adjustable bars, cleaned out air filters, and could help point to where a problem might lie in electronics. One night after practice, my coach asked if I could look at the gym's computer as it was being slow. I immediately agreed, as my coach was a second father to me, and also made sure he understood that I would do what I could, but I wasn't a professional. I knew just enough to know when I was out of my depth. My coach gave me the go-ahead, so I first asked for a list of every task that computer was used for. After installing some freeware to clean up some space, I also turned off a few of the advanced graphics settings as they weren't really needed. After finishing, I told my coach I had done what I could, and he thanked me and I went home. A day or so later, I get a phone call from my coach. Here's the relevant parts of the call. "Coach, what did you do to my computer?" This statement was followed by the longest 3 seconds of my entire life. I was immediately worried I had somehow ruined it, and this call came when I had not had the fortune to be wearing brown pants. "Coach, it runs so much better now, thank you." Me, "Don't scare me like that. I about had a heart attack thinking I broke the PC. I only did some minor cleanup and turned down the graphics settings since you didn't need them." I understand what this guy means about just knowing enough to kind of troubleshoot some things. That's kind of where I am with computers and stuff. I'm self-taught, and, I'd like to think of myself as not being too big a dummy, but my regular keyboard that came with this gaming computer, it started quitting on me. The cable was pulling out of the back of the keyboard, and I didn't feel like taking it apart and, trying to patch the USB cable back in and all that stuff. So I went out and picked up another keyboard from Wally World today. It's a Razer Black Widow. Nice little keyboard. I like the weight. It's very heavy. It's at least double the weight of a standard keyboard. I like it because when I do editing, I kick back with my feet up, set my keyboard on my lap, and I let it hang over my left leg so that when my arm's on the arm of the chair, I can tap the buttons that I need and not flip the keyboard off my lap. Well, 2 problems. One, I tried to run it through a USB hub on a modern machine. And see, it's been a while since I've gotten into any of this stuff. Evidently, on a modern machine with USB 3.0, don't, under any circumstances, try to run mouse, keyboard, and a bunch of other stuff through hubs. In fact, there's not a lot of instances where you can use a hub. Some, but keyboard and mouse, especially a keyboard like this one, run it direct to the computer, because it froze up and locked up on me and then reverted back to demo mode. I couldn't type. And it was almost impossible to reset because, my fingers were about 3 inches longer. I could hit all the buttons that I needed to hold while I unplugged it and plugged it back in, and whatever. So I got through that. There's a few macros I want to program into this because, I don't want to have to hold the function key to turn my volume up and down, things like that. The other problem, and you may have heard it a little bit when I first started reading this story, it's a very clicky keyboard. I like a clicky keyboard. Never had one before. Mechanical clicky keyboard is very tactile. It's, I like it. The one thing I didn't take into account, being the genius that I am, is that when I'm recording, I use my keyboard for changing slides. Can't really use my mouse much except for the center scroll wheel as a button. So yeah, here we are. My graphics card is overheating. You don't say. So I got a computer in for repair. The note said my GPU's overheating. I've used compressed air to clean it out, but the issue remains. Okay. I plug it in and power it on. CPU, chassis, and power supply fans all work normally. Put my hand in front of the GPU and nothing. Okay, let's take a closer look. Oh, found the issue. There's no fan. The customer broke the GPU and destroyed the fan. Time to send this unit to my billable department as this is under normal warranty. Oh wait, this gets worse. The broken GPU is a 3060. Actually, I think that's what mine is. Yeah, GTX 3060. Ooh. It ain't cheap, but it ain't expensive. But yeah, it has 2 fans built right into it, and can't imagine how warm that would get with no fans on the unit itself. A user informed me the other day that he was having trouble making it to the Windows login page. In the ticket, it mentioned some boot manager error, which seemed legit. I went over to investigate, and thankfully, the dude was actually in his office. Because of COVID posture, it's kind of a nightmare sometimes to get a hold of people. So he fires up the PC, and we get to the circling dots below the Windows logo during boot up. I ask him if this is the furthest he's ever made it during the boot, and he says yes. A couple seconds later, and the PC survives until the login screen. Dude swore the thing wasn't working. He even threw out a piece of paper that he fished out of the trash to show me the exact error message. I believed him. So he's like, let's turn it off and on again and see if it'll fail this time. While this is happening, my day 1 apprentice grabbed the dude's Rubik's Cube and just starts going to town. I timed him. He solved the thing in 30 seconds. Oh my god. Just as the PC made it to the login screen a second time. Both of us were kind of baffled, but I just said, dude, I'm sorry we couldn't fix your computer, but at least we solved your Rubik's Cube. Okay, I was totally an 80s kid. Yeah, those were the days, you know. Being an 80s kid in Jersey, all the girls had big hair and all the boys had a Rubik's Cube and a hacky sack, you know. And I couldn't do either one. I didn't have the agility for the hacky sack, and I didn't have enough brain cells to do the Rubik's Cube. And you got to be careful solving other people's Rubik's Cubes. Sometimes they get really ticked because they were in a certain spot and they've been working on it for a long time. I know it would take me years to figure a Rubik's Cube out. That's why I gave up in the 80s. Computer went boom. This is not my first post, and it happened over 2 years ago when I worked somewhere else as the main support guy at a research facility. Long story short, I had the long time task to fix all computers that did not complete a TSM backup in a while. While most computers did not exist anymore or were simply turned off, quite a few had problems connecting to the control server. So I was on investigation again to find myself in a dusty lab storage room with around a dozen of old Optiplex 740s, 745s, and 760s still running Windows XP and Windows 7. At the time, most computers were already on Windows 10. I liked Windows XP. Most of them were turned on and had problems accessing the control server to make a backup. Not this one. This one 740 was turned off for quite some time. I connected the AC and was surprised not to die because this Optiplex exploded the moment I pushed the power button on. Needless to say, I ticked this one off the list because the client got replaced. Well, that must have been a shocker. Talk about brown pants moments. I've never seen one like blow up. Like, I don't know what he means by blow up, you know. I can't imagine any concussive things happening coming out of a PC case, but you know, if it had enough dust and dirt and mouse crap and stuff in it, I could see something shorting out, maybe, as soon as you turned it on. Maybe that's what he meant, like a big pop from a short out. I mean, the worst I've ever seen from PCs and old storage units and things like that were caked in dust, mouse crap, pigeon feathers, you name it. And I think the pigeon feathers are part of mouse nests. But anyway, the worst I've seen is like the fans won't turn, the computer will boot up, it takes forever, and then eventually it just kind of faults or blue screens because the fans aren't running and it overheats. My password's not working, but I'm not going to listen to you when you suggest waiting for it to reset. So I work help desk. It effing sucks. Yesterday was a super slow day because almost all the would-be callers were on holiday, which I loved. But even though it was the easiest day I've had in a long time, it still couldn't have saved me from the frustration of this one lady. So it started when I got a call from her about a password reset. No biggie. This might be a bad habit, but since I've been in tech support for a while, I know it needs to be fixed right when the person says. After that, I just mute them so I don't have to hear their sob story. So like if you call and say, I need a password reset, then we're good. If you want to give me a long sob story where you drone on about meaningless BS, we're going to have problems and I'll put low effort and complain about how stupid you are online. But anyways, this lady took an entirely blabbering on while I was silently waiting for her to finish. I couldn't tell you what she said because, again, I had my volume turned down. But after that, when she was finally done, I was already ready to reset her password and tell her over the phone. The interaction went a little something like this. Me: okay ma'am, I have your new password ready. I give her the password. Woman: right after being given the password. It's still not working. Me: okay, well just try waiting about 10 minutes and the password should sync up. It should be working then. Woman completely disregarding what I just said. My password isn't working. Me, repeating myself and my voice becoming more stern. I just said wait about 10 minutes. Woman: my password still isn't working. And in my seething rage I was saved when the call was dropped. You can believe what you want, but I'm not one to intentionally hang up on someone, more because of fear of getting punished more than anything else. but I ain't calling back. Hate this job sometimes. Wish I could quit. Yeah, that's the same type of person that if you're having a discussion should be back and forth, give and take. You take a turn, I take a turn. You take a turn, I take a turn. Yet when it's my turn, somehow their brain tunes me out and they're so busy formulating their next statement or complaint or whatever, they don't hear you. They have no idea what you said and they don't care. As long as you hear what they said and understand what their point is. It's infuriating. I don't need a ticket. I need a mouse. Long time lurker. Backstory. I work at a company as their only IT person. This company's been around for over a decade, but no one of the previous IT people thought a help desk solution was necessary. While I love help desk, and I'm sure I'll get flack for this, it is a tiny part of my job and a responsibility that takes second or third place under the IT governance, cybersecurity, and business application roles I also hold. That said, my days are never boring and I found it difficult to keep the help desk requests at bay without having the users wait way too long before a response or resolution. A couple weeks ago, I decided to help me, really them, out and install a help desk server application. I require tickets for every help desk request so I can prioritize and resolve issues faster. The ticket is entered by the user sending the support mailbox an email. This is the exact same process as before, except they will receive an email back with their ticket number and I'll get a notification in the control panel. A company-wide email went out with a week's notice before go live, requesting anyone with questions speak up that week. No one did. The story. The day that the help desk program goes live, denoted with another company-wide notification, a user comes into my office while I'm very obviously on a video conference call with corporate. User. Hey, my wireless mouse stopped working. Me. Okay, no problem. I'm on a call right now, pointing to my headset. Can you send me an email so the request will be added to my ticket queue? For now, there's an unused desk in your office with a wired mouse that you can use until I can get to your ticket. User. I just need a mouse. Can't you just get me one? Me. I wish I could, but I can only act on tickets. I sent a couple emails about it throughout this past week and today. User. I know, I read them. I just need a new mouse. Me. You probably just need a battery since your mouse is less than a year old and I'm on a call right now, pointing to my headset again. I'm trying to use the phone! Please send me an email to automatically create a ticket and I'll get to it after my call with the CIO. User. I don't need a ticket though, I just need a mouse. Me, getting quite irritated. Man, believe me, I understand your frustration, but I do need a ticket or I can't help you with your mouse, per the new policy. And as I've mentioned, I'm on a call with the CIO. Please send me an email to add your request to my queue. In the meantime, you can use the wired mouse on the spare desk in your office. User, almost yelling, Fine. She storms out. I sigh to collect myself and return to the call with the CIO, which I deliberately kept unmuted per his previous request. CIO, who was that? Me, I'd rather not say, but if she gets worse, I'll let you know. Do you think I was wrong for not getting her all fixed up? I feel like I was. CIO, no, you have a new policy which you communicated to your business team members. She needs to follow it. We continue our business. On principle now, I will not assist her without an email, since she would have sent me an email in the first place, had it not been a requirement now. This was last Monday. I'm still waiting for an email from her. I've seen her around the office. We spoke and no mention of the wireless mouse issues. I hope she didn't bring a battery from home. I'm a strict believer that the company must provide its employees with the tools to do their jobs, and for me, that's IT equipment. Edit. I didn't actually display my frustration with her, though I was frustrated. Also, she's normally a very nice and thoughtful person. I think she was having an off day. I did go check on her to make sure she didn't resort to using the trackpad. She did take the wired mouse from the neighboring desk, but she didn't submit a ticket, so I can't replace the wireless mouse. Off day or not, interrupting a call like that is totally ignorant and uncalled for. Not to mention the fact you said you saw the emails, you read them, you understood them, and you still want to bypass the ticket system like you're special? I don't care what kind of a day you're having. Get in line. Dude, where's my server? I have never had the pleasure of working with Novell. The first server I managed was a 2003 SBS. However, the company I'm with now had managed a handful of Novell servers, and there's an interesting story with one. We had managed a Novell 4 server for a small doctor's office for several years, and at some point stopped managing their network, handing the keys over to their new company or to the office, I'm not sure which. In any case, we get a call about 2 years later asking if we could assist in locating their server, as the office is in the process of migrating to an NT domain, but the new provider can't locate their server. Technician who had handled that client previously goes on site and notices that the building had been renovated. He states the server used to live somewhere around here, and the unmistakable whir of server fans was just barely audible. Oh, I know where this is going. Using his ears as a guide, the technician walks all around the area and can't locate the server. After several minutes, he decides to look in the most obscure place possible and retrieves a ladder and a flashlight. Upon the removal of the ceiling tile, the fan whir becomes much more prevalent, and a hole is discovered in the ceiling tiles, a small 4x4 foot opening on the other side of the wall which has no ceiling grid over top. The faint green glow can be seen emanating out of that hole. The server is located on a tile floor surrounded by 4 walls, still dutifully serving up the shared drive. Apparently during the renovation, the office was still operating. It was originally a network closet to be placed in that location, but was moved to another location in the building. The server became enclosed with no door. As I understand it, the server could still be there, powered off. Following the migration, the server was shut down and never retrieved. Being around construction most of my life, it still amazes me how many times people will close up walls and they'll lose an entire closet or small room without even thinking twice about it. Now, I've seen drywall guys close off rooms before and walk off the job and act like, hey, job's done. They were getting paid piecework. They got, if they were supposed to hang 600 sheets that day, they hung 600 sheets and went home. Didn't necessarily mean they had to cut everything out, I guess. But, there's got to be some manager or supervisor on site that catches this kind of stuff. Not to mention the fact people that have worked in that office forever, they don't realize they're missing some real estate there or what? Well, hey guys, let's not let the fun stop now. Click this video here on the screen. I think you're going to like it. See ya.